Good morning, students. Yesterday we were discussing about the biological applications in agriculture, and we see that how using biotechnology we have improved photosynthesis by modifying the Rubisco gene, the gene that is coding for Rubisco. Exactly like that, we have also provided lots of advantages or lots of features to our plants using the biotechnological principles, like herbicide tolerance is there. What it actually means, basically herbicide is what? Herbicides are the chemicals which are used to destroy the herbs, or you can say unwanted plants that are going to grow in our along with our crops. So they are the chemicals. Now many of the time what happens, that they are destroying the herbs or unnecessary unwanted plants that are growing with our crops, but they are affecting our crops also. So because of the help of biotechnology, such plants, tomato is there, potato, cotton, brinjal, so lots of such plant varieties have been made which are now resistant to these herbicides. So whenever these herbicides are sprayed in our fields, they are not going to harm our crops. So there are different methods by which this herbicide resistance or herbicide tolerance can be developed, like we can enhance or we can increase the production of such enzymes which are affected by these herbicides. So overproduction of enzymes affected by herbicides. So with the help of our rDNA technology, the overproduction of such enzymes can be done. Or second thing is that there are some of the modifications that can be done in these enzymes, so that these enzymes can be become less sensitive to these, or you can say almost insensitive to these herbicides. So modifications in enzyme making them less sensitive to herbicides. This is another method through which herbicides tolerance can be developed in a plant. Or the third thing which can be done over here is that detoxification. Such enzymes can be introduced into the plants that are responsible for the detoxification of these herbicides. So enzymes introduced which are responsible for detoxification. Detoxification means the toxic chemicals are going to be converted into non-toxic substances, and the growth and health of a plant will not be affected. So with the help of these certain changes, a plant can be made herbicide resistance or herbicide tolerance with the help of biotechnological principles, and we have made various such crops which are herbicide tolerance. So whenever we are providing these herbicides in our fields, they are not going to affect our production because our crops are not going to be affected. Now other than this herbicide tolerance, we are having various insect pest resistant crops. We are having such transgenic plants which are resistant to various insect pests. So another application is insect pest resistant transgenic plants. We know that there are lots of insects which are going to act on our crops, they are going to feed on the crops, they are going to affect various major parts like flowers, fruits, stem, even leaves also. So the insects are going to eat up the important parts of the plant, and obviously the health, growth and production is going to decrease. So scientists or researchers have introduced certain genes in these plants. They have genetically modified these plants so that these plants become resistant to these insect pests. Now two advantages are there. We are not required to add on insecticides, chemical insecticides which we are going to purchase from the market. So economically they are going to be very reliable. And second one is the harmful effect of the insecticides that is coming in our soil also, in our health also, so that is also going to be neglected. So there are lots of crops which are produced, like we are having tobacco, that is a transgenic tobacco is there, we are having transgenic cotton, brinjal, tomato, potato. So lots of plants are there which are nowadays transgenic plants and which are resistant to these insect pests. Now most commonly there is a bacteria that is used in such type of transgenic plants, and the name of the bacteria is Bacillus thuringiensis. Earlier also we talked about this bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis. Now this Bacillus thuringiensis is having a Bt toxin, and this Bt toxin is responsible for the death of various insect pests. So researchers have used this Bt toxin, and this Bt toxin is introduced in different plants so that these plants become resistant to various insects. So basically what this Bt toxin is, this Bt toxin is a crystal protein, a insecticidal crystal protein. It is also known as cry protein. And there are lots of cry genes or different type of cry proteins which are present in this Bacillus thuringiensis. And this gene, the cry gene, that is responsible for the formation of this cry protein, that has been taken out, and obviously recombinant DNA is going to be formed. How this recombinant DNA is going to be formed? Here we are using the TI plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens, because we know that that is going to act as a natural genetic engineer. So Agrobacterium tumefaciens is used. Its TI plasmid is going to be used as a vector, and in this vector the cry gene is introduced. This is the cry gene, and now this Agrobacterium vector, this TI plasmid, is going to be responsible for the integration of this cry gene into the genome of the plant cell. And if the plant cell is having this cry gene in its genome, that means this is going to have this cry protein also. And when these plants are having this cry protein, and this cry protein will be responsible for the death of the insects which are going to feed on these plants. So this is how the transgenic plants are made, using this gene that is taken out from this Bacillus thuringiensis. If we talk about this cry protein, actually this is the inactive protein. Whenever a cry gene is going to secrete or synthesize a cry protein, that is present in its inactive form. So it's an inactive toxin. And whenever the insects like larva of the caterpillar, they are going to feed on this, on any of the part of this plant, say a transgenic plant is there, and they are going to feed on the leaves of the transgenic plant, and this transgenic plant is having cry gene, that means it is going to produce the cry protein. So leaves are going to have this cry protein. in inactive form, and whenever this inactive form is going to enter into the stomach of the insects, then what happens there, it is going to get alkaline pH plus digestive enzymes are there. In presence of this alkaline pH and digestive enzymes, this toxin is going to be broken down into fragments, and when it is broken down into fragments, it is present in its active form, and when it comes in its active form, it is going to affect the epithelial lining of the midgut, it is going to make pores in the epithelial lining, and finally death of the insect is going to occur. This is how this cry protein is going to function, and this is how the transgenic plants, they are going to be resistant to these type of insects. Now there are lots of insects which are basically affecting our plants, like butterflies are there, no flies, house flies are there, beetles are there. So there are lots of insects which are responsible for damage to our crops, and there are lots of transgenic plants which are being produced, like the most common one is Bt cotton. The name Bt is given because that is having a gene from Bacillus thuringiensis, that why B for Bacillus and T for thuringiensis. This Bt cotton, that is most commonly affected by the caterpillars of cotton bollworm. They are going to basically feed on the tender soft parts of the cotton, on the upper tip, or you can say stem, tender stem portion, on the flowers, and also on the bolls. They are going to make pores in the boll, and because of pores in the boll, they are going to open prematurely. Before fully matured up, they are going to open in a premature stage, and from these a poor quality of lint is going to be produced. So that's how these bollworms, they were affecting the Bt, so you can say simple normal cotton. Then what researchers did, they extracted out the gene from Bacillus thuringiensis, that was Cry1AC gene and Cry2AB gene. So these genes were introduced inside the cotton, and now it becomes Bt cotton, and it is resistant to these worms. So these worms are now no more going to affect cotton. Exactly like that, we are having Bt cone also, and this Bt cone has received Cry1AB gene that has made it transgenic and resistant from the worms. So this is how, even we are having Bt tobacco also, Bt brinjal is there, in which different cry genes have been introduced, and they become resistant to different type of insect pests. Now there are some of the plants which are made resistant to various type of nematodes. So let's discuss about the nematodes which are actually affecting the plants. There are lots of nematodes that are going to affect plants as well as animals. There is one common nematode that is going to affect mostly the plants, that is Meloidigyne incognitia. This Meloidigyne incognitia, that is responsible for the destruction of roots of tobacco plant. And because of the destruction of the roots of tobacco plant, the growth and production was very much retarded. Now this tobacco plant that has become made resistant to this nematode, and that is by using a technology, a new technique that is known as RNA interference, also known as RNAi. Now if we discuss about this RNA interference, then this RNA interference is part of reverse genetics. What this reverse genetics simply means, what we actually do in our forward genetics or normal conditions, what we actually do, we try to follow a gene and then see what is the phenotype that is coming because of that particular gene. This is the forward situation. In reverse situation, we actually start with a phenotype, and by observing the phenotype we are coming back to the gene. So that is the reverse genetics. Now this RNA interference simply means that it is going to interfere in the protein synthesis. Means there is a RNA molecule and this RNA molecule is not allowing a mRNA to get translated into a protein. So normally what happens, a mRNA is there and this mRNA will be going to form, or it will be going to translate it into a protein. This is the normal process. Now there is a double stranded RNA which is present in an organism. It is going to be introduced and this double stranded RNA is going to interfere with this mRNA. It is going to silent this mRNA and this mRNA is not going to convert it into protein. So the mRNA we are talking about of nematode. We have selected that protein of the nematode that is responsible for the growth of the nematode, and if this protein is not going to be translated, not going to be formed, growth of nematode is not going to occur, and finally it is responsible for the death of the nematode. So to remove these nematodes, for the death of the nematode, this RNA interference technology is being used. What it is actually done in this RNA interference technology, there is requirement of a double stranded RNA, and this double stranded RNA must be complementary to this mRNA. For that what is done, the protein, this protein that is responsible for the growth of this nematode, the gene of this protein is going to be extracted out from this nematode. So this is a nematode specific gene. This nematode specific gene has been taken out from the nematode, and with the help of again Agrobacterium tumefaciens, the TI plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens is used, and this gene is going to be attached with the TI plasmid, and finally that is going to be introduced into the plant. Say we are here talking about a tobacco plant. Now this tobacco plant is having a nematode specific gene. This nematode specific gene is going to be transcribed in the tobacco plant. That means mRNA is going to be formed. So this is introduced in such a way that here both sense and antisense mRNA are going to form. Two strands of mRNA are going to be formed, sense and antisense strands, and because of formation of two strands of mRNA, they are complementary to each other, so they are going to form a double stranded RNA. So this double stranded RNA is of the nematode specific gene only. Now whenever these nematodes are going to feed on such transgenic tobacco plant which are having a double stranded RNA for their specific gene, and they are going to feed on this. Now these nematodes, they are going to, in normal what these nematodes are going to do, they are going to transcribe their genes and they are going to form the mRNA, and this mRNA was required to form the protein, but this double stranded DNA that is having a complementarity with this mRNA, so it is going to bind with this mRNA, it is going to silence this mRNA, and now this mRNA is no more translated into a protein. So the protein is not going to be formed, and if protein is not going to be formed, then growth of the nematode is not going to occur, and this nematode is going to die. So this is how this RNA interference technology, RNAi, is used in the tobacco plant to make it transgenic and to make it nematode resistant. So this is how a new technique has been developed. Now let's see few examples of a transgenic plant which are modified with different genes, and now they are carrying different characteristics. These are some of the transgenic plants. If we talk about golden rice, then they are going to be appear golden yellow in color, and they are rich in vitamin A, that is beta carotene. This beta carotene gene that has been taken out from daffodil plants and it is added into rice. So that is a transgenic rice. So it is going to be vitamin A. So child blindness can be prevented by taking this vitamin transgenic rice, or you can say golden rice. Wheat that has made herbicide tolerant. There is a herbicide that is PPT. So there are certain genes that are introduced and this wheat become resistant to this herbicide. Brassica napus. This plant has been introduced with a gene that is coding for hyaluronidine, which is acting as a agent that is going to prevent blood clotting. So blood clot formation is going to be prevented by this hyaluronidine. So the gene that is coding for hyaluronidine, that has been chemically synthesized and it is introduced into Brassica napus. Now the product is going to be present in the seeds, means hyaluronidine is going to be present in the seeds of this plant, and from where it is going to be extracted out and purified, and that is used in as a therapeutical agent. Tomato plants. The genetically modified or transgenic tomato plants are known as flavor saver tomato. These tomato plants, they are transgenic, made transgenic by using a gene ACC deaminase, and because of which there is delayed ripening. There is no production of ethylene, so rotting will be delayed, ripening will be delayed. So in the transportation or storage purpose, these tomatoes are going to give good performance as compared to the normal tomatoes. Then we are having potatoes. The potato has been, the starch content of the potato has been increased by using a bacterial gene. The bacterial gene that is used over here is ADP glucose phosphorylase. It's ADP glucose pyrophosphorylase. That is being used to increase the starch content. BT cotton we have already talked about. Crygene has been introduced to make them insect resistant. Now there are tobacco plants also in which different type of genes are introduced that are making them pest resistant. One such gene is cowpea trypsin inhibitor. That is going to make these tobacco pest resistant. We are having transgenic bananas also. These transgenic bananas, they are having enterotoxin gene of E. coli. So they are also modified. So these are some of the examples of transgenic plants. That's all for today. In our next class, we are going to discuss about various other applications of biotechnology in pharmaceutical area.